Hola, my name is Moises Noreña. I've been an innovation leader for the last 20 years. I started my career at Whirlpool Corporation as Global Director of Innovation. Later, moved to Allstate Insurance as Director of Strategic Innovation, and more recently as Vice President of Innovation for Moen, part of Fortune Brands. I have also taught innovation at Notre Dame University. In all these years, I've accumulated a lot of learnings through my experiences by doing innovation. And I've compiled all these experiences in what I call Moises' 10 Commandments for Conscious Innovation and Growth. And I call it conscious because it's not only about driving growth, it's about all the constituencies and all the stakeholders winning as part of this process. In these short videos, I'm going to tell you one innovation principle. I'm going to give you some examples of what happens when it's successfully applied. I'm going to tell you specific steps on how to do it, and then I'll tell you what you'll experience if you apply these principles. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope my commandments are helpful to you, to your career, and to your company. Commandment number 1. Thou should define a purpose. If you are in an innovation role, you're probably wondering, where should I innovate? What will make my role successful? You might be asking around to your leaders, what are you expecting from me? What is the type of innovation that you're looking for? And if what they tell you is, do whatever you want, as long as we're number one in the industry. For me, that is a red flag. Before you innovate, you should define a purpose. You should define a vision, a why. This why is what you are going to be making as an organization or as a brand to make the world a better place. By defining this why, consumers will be loyal to you. And then everything will come after that. They will prefer your brand, that will drive growth, driving success. Your goal is not to kill the competition. Your goal is to serve the customer like nobody can. When you define the purpose, you are on your path to achieving that. The purpose is the fuel to innovation. IKEA. I bet you don't think IKEA's purpose is to be the largest furniture store in the world. In fact, the purpose is to create a better everyday life for people by providing products that let them create the home they want and dream of. Or AirBnB. Their goal is not to lead in hospitality. Their purpose is to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere. This principle applies to all companies as much as it applies to new companies. It's going to allow you to actually define what business you're in. And when you know what business you're in, the sky is the limit. Now let me share with you some examples of the companies I've been part of. I've been lucky enough to work in companies that have great purposes. Whirlpool, for example, is in constant pursuit of improving life at home. Or Allstate, to help customers realize their hopes and dreams by providing the best products and services to protect them from life's uncertainties and to create a better future. Now Moen. Moen is part of Fortune Brands, and Fortune Brands' purpose is to fulfill dreams of home. Moen has been in the market positioned as buy it for looks, buy it for life. Basically, durability and style. Younger generations want brands with more meaning. So we've been thinking about this and we've expanded our amplitude and we redefined the brand as what we call now design for water. What that means is that we are basically involved in any water experience in the home, and that really defines a different business that we're in. For example, we've started to expand our offering and now we're in the basement with our Flow suite of protection products that includes our brand new sump pump monitor. We're also redefining the spaces that we're in. We are looking at redefining the shower experience or even, how we interact with our faucets today. So when you define that purpose, you're really redefining the business you're in, and that allows you to really expand your thinking and inspires people with it. Now let me tell you 3 very specific things you can do to define this purpose. Number 1, look at the world, look at people in general, in the market you're serving. Look at your consumer base and look for those unarticulated needs that actually you can solve for. Translate those into insights. If you find one meaningful insight, that might be the path. Number 2, look at yourself in the mirror. When I say yourself, I mean your company. And think about what are the things that you can do better than anybody else. And number 3, look at the market itself. Are there tailwinds that are propelling this industry? Are there technologies that are changing the way consumers are interacting? Is this a sizable market? Is there purchasing power? Basically, this is going to define, is it worth doing? When you define that, you can then get some people together in a room and define the purpose. Bring all the people from the president, vice presidents, general managers, all the way to people in the line, people that have been in the company for a long time, new employees, even some of your closest collaborators like agencies or suppliers. Define this in a very specific short sentence that defines who you are and what you want to do. And then test it with these 3 questions. Number 1, what business are we in? It should be bigger than the business of the gadgets that you're selling. It should be much more than that. Number 2, are we inspired by it? And number 3, if we solve it, will consumers be better in a better place? Will the world be a better place? Will this be good for our employees, for our stakeholders, for our investors? So what will happen when you have this purpose clearly defined and communicated throughout the organization? Consumers will identify you with a company that can solve their problems, and they will come back over and over, driving growth. This will fuel innovation in the organization, will inspire creativity, will unlock the thinking for teams. These insights will allow you to expand from your current offerings, will allow you to serve the market in different ways. And lastly, when people get confused, when pressure comes in, will allow the teams to stay aligned into this one direction. That is very powerful. When consumers get satisfied, when you start driving that loyalty, when everyone comes back to you, this will be good for your stakeholders, for your employees, for your suppliers, for everyone in the value chain. That will unlock growth. As innovation leader, you can drive this definition. It may not be your sole responsibility, but you can be a catalyst to do it. Now go ahead and define your purpose. That was commandment number 1. Thou should define a purpose. Basically, it's about defining a why, defining a reason to exist, defining a purpose that is bigger than you and bigger than the company. This is fuel for innovation. As innovation leader, you are in a great position to do that. Now go ahead and define it.